Hi, Bill Henshall here again on current events, and I want to take this opportunity to offer my not politically correct view on the BS civil quote-unquote rights movement. This from an admitted quote-unquote white supremacist, states' rights advocate, not to mention undocumented enemy alien, and even a domestic terrorist. But make no mistake about it here, since all the civil quote-unquote rights laws were not only not designed for their stated purpose, the rights of freedmen, the recently freed slaves following the war between the states, and noting that 95% of such cases these days are tossed in the circular file at the first opportunity, and of the first 800 cases to reach the Supreme Court, only 7 were about the rights of freedmen. The rest being brought by pursuant to the secret agenda of the 14th Amendment to make corporate citizens. And this is such a pernicious, pervasive price to our federated Republican form of government of defined and limited powers based on the rule of law and the consent of the governed, which is so steep it would make Esau look good in comparison to Warren Buffett. To be sure, some advocates of civil quote-unquote rights likely acted in passionate good faith, but not you, Ralph David Abernathy, Jesse Jackson, or Al Sharpton, who've done nothing more than sell out your own people to maintain positions of wealth and power at their expense. This is not relevant, since any advocates of civil quote-unquote rights are, regardless of their motivation, engaging in acts of treason to the Constitution and aiding and abetting those, principally the Wall Street banksters in the vicinity of 120 Broadway, New York, and their Ivy League State Bar Association attorneys, to achieve their goals of overthrowing the Constitution and lawful government of the United States. To this end, I stand prepared to take on any civil quote-unquote rights advocate on mutually agreeable terms with as little as 24 hours notice to engage me in an a cappella debate on any of my unopposed constitutional issues, any one of which defeats civil quote-unquote rights, and all of which are in direct opposition to them. How about you, John Lewis? And while you're at it, please state on the record exactly what state it is of which you are an inhabitant, as required by Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution. But be prepared to be confronted by my unopposed 77-page brief on admission of new states, which establishes that there are no states remaining which were admitted into this union. Accordingly, whatever gains have been made in civil quote-unquote rights have come at a colossal cost, increasing federal control over all aspects of life in the several states, quote-unquote courtesy of either the Commerce Clause powers of Congress, aka Admiralty Maritime Jurisdiction, which state judicial courts cannot exercise, and or federal regional martial law rule, in which there are no rights for anyone at all. Indeed, a recent situation arose in North Carolina where a serious discussion ensued pursuant to a possible civil quote-unquote rights litigation that taking a crap in a government-funded bathroom affects interstate commerce, a very neat trick since there are no states. This is why, for me, Brown versus Board of Education is an infamous case of the first order, while Scott v. Sanford does not qualify here at all. Indeed, I find the following quote from author T.S. Eliot fits all civil rights cases like a glove. The last temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right thing for the wrong reason. Far better to adhere to the oath of office, as did Representative John Holmes, a Federalist from Massachusetts, when debating about the admission of Maine and Missouri 200 years ago, perhaps the most important issue ever to come before Congress, which is exactly the position I advocate today, when he stated, quote, "But while we admit this in behalf of the respectable gentlemen who advocate the restriction of slavery in Missouri, we ask, may we demand of them the same liberality? We are not the advocates or abettors of slavery. For one, sir, I would rejoice if there was not a slave on earth. Liberty is the object of my love, my adoration. I would extend its blessings to every human being. But though my feelings are strong for the abolition of slavery, they are yet stronger for the Constitution of my country. And if I am reduced to the sad alternative to tolerate the holding of slaves in Missouri or violate the Constitution of my country, I will not admit a doubt about my choice. Sir, of what benefit would be abolition if at the sacrifice of your Constitution? Where would be the guarantee of liberty which you grant? This Constitution which I hold in my hand I am sworn to support, not according to legislative or judicial exposition, but as I shall understand it, not as private interest or public zeal may urge, but as I shall believe, not as I may wish it, but as it is. Thank you.